Thrilled to get a win tonight against a really tough, talented, well-coached Omaha team. I think physically they're one of the more imposing teams in the conference, and they've got posts who can really play. I think Frankie Fiddler's as elite a scorer as there is. J.J. White is a really just a tough matchup at point guard. And I thought our guys responded well both to last weekend and also the game we played in Omaha, which was a tough battle. And all week in practice they had, I thought, really, really good focus. Defensively, probably dating back to our Western Michigan game, I thought that was as good as our connectedness had been on defense. Understanding that we're not playing a bunch of one-on-one games, that we're playing 5 guys in a shell together. And then I thought the country theme tonight, our students were outstanding. To see them pack the student sections 25 minutes before tip-off, I don't remember that happening. So grateful to the crowd, love the way our guys competed. Only 8 turnovers, 19 assists. I thought we shot the ball well and defended with a purpose. So very, very pleased.
Omaha, everything starts through Fiddler. Tonight you threw a variety of different guys at him, from Raheem to Ryan to Ben to just about everybody, and it just gave him fits all night long. Was that the plan, or did they just work out that way that a bunch of different guys got on him? Because nothing could get started for them because you guys took him out of the game.
Yeah, and I don't, with all due respect, I don't know if I'd say we gave him fits. I thought we worked really hard on defense. We go into the game with so much respect for how he plays that we talk about just try to make him take tough shots. He's a 90% free throw shooter. He's elite from 3. He can post up. So it's more about just make things as hard as possible and trust that. I thought the first game we gave him, we put him at the line a lot. We gave him a lot of layups. And he can certainly do that to you. But it was a collective effort. And sometimes it's switching matchups just to give him, just like in baseball, you're changing speeds, give a different look. But I think he's unbelievable. I love his game and how he plays. And so we were fortunate. He missed some shots tonight that he typically makes. But I loved our effort, and I thought our trust in just here's what we have to do and make him take tough shots. But he's going to score points, and he's shown that over the last 3 years.
Raheem Anthony, what did you foresee him when you first started recruiting him? Did you foresee this level of play when he came, and what did you love about him when you recruited him?
Well, Raheem is such a unique story. I mean, he played here 4 years ago in a playoff game, and the story's been widely told. I mean, we could not keep him out of the lane, and we would show his moves, and we're like, here he goes, crossover, hesitation, spin dribble, and he'd be shooting layups, and it happened over and over against us. And his coach Joe Fano at St. Mary's, who's a good friend, we coached against each other in the 2016 national championship game when he was at Benedictine, and we played them in the finals. And so Joe and I have known each other a long time. He called me about Raheem a couple times over the next few years as we were going Division I. Joe actually was here tonight, so for him to get to see Raheem play like that it's a pretty special night. I mean, there's a reason we recruited Raheem. I think so often, and we have a lot of evidence of this, that guys get labeled Division III or Division II or Division I. If you're a basketball player, you're a basketball player. And so, did I think he was going to be really good? Absolutely. What I probably didn't know was what a joy he'd be to coach. Like, he's just one of the kinder people. My daughter Issa, who's 2, loves all our players, but if you ask her who her favorite player is, she always says Raheem, and then she says Raheem the Lion because she roars at him for who knows why. But everybody loves him, and you look at tonight, his play, I think, as a complete player, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 15 points, only 1 turnover, but that doesn't capture the energy. When he gets ahead of steam on the break, I don't know that there's many players in college basketball anywhere that are as dynamic as he is, and he's also unbelievably coachable, that he's always trying to learn, always trying to get better. So to say that I knew he'd be this good, it's hard to say that, but I had a feeling seeing him up close as a freshman, and also talking to his high school coach, Tom Kleinschmidt, and Mike Mullins with Illinois Wolves. I mean, everybody you talk to about him just raves about him, and so that's a long answer, but there's he's been such an unbelievable addition to our program this year.
Coach, what kind of relief do you get to know that you can rely on these bench guys, give you a lot of production, especially with guys like Ben and Carter Bierke kind of having a more increased role as the season goes on?
Yeah, it was huge tonight. Our bench had 30 points, and I think Carter has just continued to get better and better as a redshirt freshman. The dynamic he brings, and not just as a shooter. I think that's one of the things that he and Ben are arguably our two best shooters. But what they hear us preaching all the time is you're not just a shooter. So what Ben brings, the energy, the ability to dribble, penetrate, he's on defense, he's all over flying around. So that unbridled energy, Carter, you saw tonight, some dribble drives, some shot fake. Carter is a really, really unique offensive player. And then Ryan Default is a spark off the bench. I thought those three guys tonight took the energy that the starters brought, and they just kicked it up a notch. And then you talk about sort of a flywheel, and then our starters are fresh, and they come back in at about the midway point of the first half. And it's beautiful when it works that way, but I thought all of the guys bought into the game plan, and they really trusted each other. 19 assists, 8 turnovers, and just a competitive joy that you can see how they're cheering for one another, which is really awesome.
Kendall Blue tonight, he had another spectacular game. He's always an X factor whenever he's aggressive, especially in transition, attacking. What you see out of him tonight? Because usually good things happen when he has games like this.
Yeah, well, much like Raheem, his stats, 13 points and 11 rebounds, that's incredible for a wing, 3 assists, 1 turnover. So those numbers are unbelievable, but I just said in the locker room, I thought it was probably the best game of his career because of the game within the game, the nuanced things, the way he was closing out with urgency, the way he's communicating with his teammates. He's a sophomore, and you always want to see, I felt like guys at the end of their sophomore year who have played a lot of minutes start looking more like veterans, right? And it's not always that sophomore to junior is that discrete a difference, but a lot of times it ends up being that way. And Kendall should feel like an upperclassman at this point in time. He started a lot of games over 2 years. He's shown what he can do, but tonight, to me, it's his aggressiveness and the way he's getting more and more confident. To me, it's the little things. It's the way he closed out with urgency on shooters tonight. That's more impressive than 13 points and 11 rebounds, and those are unbelievable numbers for a sophomore wing. But it's Kendall just becoming more and more confident in himself. It's fun to watch.
What do you talk to the guys about keeping this energy? Because when you guys play like this, we're sharing the ball, playing connected, as you oftentimes say, taking it into Saturday night and then down to Sioux Falls.
Well, we've had 30 games now, and in just about every one of them after the game, I feel proud of how the guys have competed, unselfish on offense, tough-minded on defense. But and you can't predict, right, the margin of victories where we've had some games that have been 25, 30-point wins. You don't ever predict those. Those are a byproduct of doing things the right way. And then some nights shots go in. Tonight we go 11 for 22 on threes. Other nights they don't. And so your shooting can't be the thing that gives you energy. It's got to be our defense and our unselfishness. And to me, that's, when you look at conference tournaments, it's the teams that love playing together, who are tough and connected and trust each other through the tough times. Those are the teams that can withstand 3 games in 3 or 4 days. And so I don't think we have to be anybody different, but it's about what have we learned throughout these 30 games. And probably the thing I like coaching these guys most is the way they approach after a win or a loss. They're in the film room and they're on the practice court and they're ready to get better. And they really take a mature approach to that, which just makes it fun to come to work every day.
You've been game planning for Frankie Fiddler a little longer than college, and Ryan's been going against him. How have you seen all this growth over time, and how interesting is it seeing that growth over time?
Yeah, it is wild because Frankie, when he was 16, I was coaching an AAU team with my son Jack and 9 other guys, and Frankie was unbelievable. Their team, Chucky Hepburn, who's the Badgers' starting point guard now, they had a really, really good team. And one of the things that impresses me most about Frankie is just when I look at where he was at age 16 and every single year since then, how there's been a noticeable improvement. He was really good then. Ryan is, I remember those games well because Ryan didn't back down against Chucky Hepburn tonight. Tonight there were possessions where Ryan would be on the point guard and then he'd be on Frankie and then he'd be on the center, and he's just, he's like I don't know what the analogy would be that would be appropriate other than he's just fearless because he just loves getting out there and competing, and he was like that on the AAU circuit. I mean, Ryan Default is just, he's fearless, and he's also he brings a certain joy to his team as he's flying around, doing what he does in every aspect of the game. So, yeah, 5 years later, I still don't know that there's any game plan for Frankie Fiddler, but it's been fun watching him and Ryan go against each other.
Coach, you know better than anybody how quick a team can just erase a deficit like that. But with about 4 minutes left, you went to go sit down at the end of the bench, and feel like your heart rate flew down a little bit. What were you telling those guys at the end of the bench about what you were seeing on the floor?
Well, some of that is, it's good to relax my heart once in a while. Some of the redshirt freshmen are down there, so Ben Oosterbaan, Hayden Tibbetts, and my son Adam. So it was fun to go sit down there and talk to them about what they're seeing in the game. Someday they'll be out in those situations. But I do think it's important that all of our guys, if you look at the collective energy, all 15 of our players bring something really important. And a lot of times that doesn't go noticed by the outside people, that it's the guys starting and the guys playing. And, those are guys on the scout team every day who are trying to simulate what we're going to see. They're guys in the weight room at 8 a.m. And so some of it is just to enjoy those moments with them where they play a really, really big part in all of this and making sure that they know that.
Question for both of you. This type of game, you guys thrive in it. We're creating turnovers, pushing in transition. You two have great chemistry out there. Just talk about how fun that was.
It's pretty fun, especially when the crowd gets into it. Past couple games in Schoenecker, we've had just a great crowd, and that's credit to our marketing team for getting a lot of people out there.
Yeah, like Raheem said, we kind of feed off the crowd's energy with big plays, defensive stops, rebounds, and it was just a fun atmosphere to be out there.
Did you guys learn a lesson on that trip to the Dakotas at all that you took into this game?
Yeah, we know that this league's competitive and anybody can beat anybody, anybody can lose to anybody, but it's how you bounce back from those losses, and I think tonight the guys really locked in on defense and the results showed, so.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't bring it, especially at North Dakota State to start the Dakota trip, and we know that we could lose to anybody and we could beat anybody.
Speaking of the defense tonight, you guys just came out with a different fire tonight. What was it that went on in practice this weekend that just got you guys to come out like that and really start to finish? This wasn't a game just because of the defense, really.
Yeah, we just watch a lot of film on our games, and one of our emphasis this week was getting in gaps and protecting the paint, and I feel like if we did a good job at that, and the results show. We got out in transition, got electric plays, and got the crowd into it.
Yeah, our past 8 games, we got a little analytics behind it. Teams that have shot over 50% or 60% on layups, field goals, we've lost. And the games that they've shot lower than that, we've won. So a heavy emphasis on paint protection and offensive rebounding.
Raheem, when and where did you learn to use your body so much when you attack and be so physical?
I feel like ever since I got way stronger, especially like kind of my freshman year in college, especially when I started posting up too. And now with the new rule about having to be vertical, especially in transition, it's pretty easy to catch somebody backpedaling and not being in the right guarding position.
This team, it really thrives best when you guys share the ball and when it's a real balanced attack. You guys seem to be so connected out there, being each other's biggest cheerleaders. What's it like playing on this team where you just know everybody's got your back and you bleed for each other out there?
Yeah, we're really an unselfish team, and it could be anybody's night. This night just happened to be Raheem and I. So I think we just love to see each other succeed, and scoring the ball is the main factor of the game, and we're just unselfish, and we love seeing each other win. So
yeah, key emphasis on connectivity, and that's probably one of the biggest reasons I came to St. Thomas, seeing how well people like cheering for each other on each other's teams. And a part of that was Italy. Italy kind of grew us together as a team, as they accepted me as a player, and we just grew a bond there, especially going on trips and things that weren't basketball.
Now, from a selfish standpoint, Raheem, after you saw Kendall's transition flush, did you have to up him with your own?
Nah, not necessarily up him. I kind of saw the big man. He grabbed the rebound and he snapped his head quick and just threw it. And I was already right there in the guarding position, so I just took it, and then he just happened to get dunked. Sorry.